Okay, هذا الباور سبلاي هنا from power supply. هذا بس white port بس only for oxygen because it's portable. It has a compressor inside it. So the ventilators are two types, with compressor and without compressor. Compressor is like a fridge. It generates pressure and give us air so the ventilator can work, because all the ventilators valve are work by pressure. Without pressure the ventilator will not work. This only give oxygen connected to the bottle, to the wall, whatever, but the ventilator always need pressure. So the pressure either generated somewhere in the hospital and then through tubing comes to the ventilator, or the ventilator should have compressor. Now for long time it's not acceptable at all to use a compressor with a ventilator, because it looks like you have a fridge and you're sleeping on the fridge. So imagine there is a fridge and it's working and you sleep on it, and it become on your ear doing like this when it works. I will show you. Okay, so it's almost always we have to use a ventilator without a compressor. It's not acceptable at all to use a ventilator with compressor inside intensive care. It should be always without compressor. Compressor is used for transport. Yes. Or sometimes they use it for temporary, like doing surgery, anesthesia and surgery. It's acceptable. So you can see that there is no black tube for this because there is no air. It has built-in compressor because this is portable transport ventilator. So this is only oxygen. Okay? And this port, this is the universal serial bus, which is the USB. It's used for connection for short distance, like connecting with a computer, connecting with another RAN, with a monitor, and so on. This, what is called? Anybody knows? This is LAN, local area net. LAN, local area net. It's very good for long distance transfer, and it can be also connected with the phone, with the mobile, with the landline. Okay? Clear? This is called RS232. RS232. This is very good for transfer of heavy data between two machines. Okay? You can see how many pins here?
4, 6,
Four?
10.
4 here and 5 up. So 9. Or they call it 9-pin port. And it's very good because 4 going and 5 coming. So it transfers data very quickly. And that's why it's always can use connection between a printer and a computer, because it's fast printing. Okay? So this is called RS232. RS232. Remember these lines. Huh? Okay? So now we'll go from the front. Or you can bring chairs and let's sit. So you can sit here or bring the chairs here. No. Okay. So bring chairs, please, and sit with me. Yeah, bring chairs and sit. And now, keep on it. Now, we're looking to the front. So we have 2, okay? So you can see, this is going to the patient. This limb should be going to the patient, and this is coming from the patient. Okay? Okay, so this is have exhalation valve, and this is have inhalation valve. Okay? Going and coming. Did you see? Okay? And this is our on. Okay, so it says that it's on the battery, not on the DC. You see? And this is the alarm. This is for nebulization, if you want to give anything to the baby. So usually this is start with room. You guys know the room?
No.
Read-only memory, and RAM, random access memory. Have you heard about RAM in the computer?
Yes.
Yeah, RAM, random access memory. The RAM is the information that you exchange. Room that you only can read-only memory. So it's your room usually built and it starts. So it can tell you here, partial pass, because there is no oxygen. Okay, we don't need oxygen, right? So we can say continue. Okay. So we can disconnect this. It has to be reconnected because you need to test it. And it has to be. This is pluggable or unpluggable. So we need it to. I think you need to plug it. I think like this. You can see this color. Okay, and now start testing. So blower test, pass. Oxygen flow sensor fail because there is no oxygen. Pass, pass. You can see running. Pass, pass. Very important to test the ventilator and be ready and put it on then, and the nurse check the ventilator every shift and they sign. We have the ventilator signature, so they sign it's ready, and we'll teach them how to do that. Okay, so oxygen sensor failed. Okay, it's an oxygen calibration, so we don't need oxygen.
Sorry, doctor.
Is refusing. You need oxygen. Okay, so let's exit and then. Okay.
Sorry, doctor. When we start, يعني on
The ventilator
machine,
on?
this check system will goes by machine.
By machine, yes.
Doesn't need our
No,
interruption.
you have you just need the oxygen. It has to check itself that everything is functioning. If
How
it's failed,
يعني كو
when you start always, whenever you start on the ventilator. Okay.
No, I think
Clear?
she mean that at the first step when we did, when it was writing pass like that,
Yeah.
and everything should be
He
passed.
passed.
This is mean everything is
It's fine.
fine.
If it's failed, then you
Yes.
need to bioengineer
Yes.
to correct.
And after that,
We can
put
use.
it- Yes.
Okay.
Start.
So we just pass the oxygen because
Yes.
it
There is no
does not
problem.
shield the
Yeah,
oxygen.
بس
So we
the
can
machine
change,
detail
okay.
and they take it pass to fail it.
You have is this
machine, yes.
so? This is pediatric. We'll select pediatric, okay, and you can start male, and we need invasive. Okay, then we can start the ventilation. Okay, so let's disconnect and put on the test one. Okay. Okay. So you guys remember the variables.
We have
You guys
three
remember the
pressure,
variables.
conditional.
Dependent and independent.
Yes. Okay.
We have three variable: contact, countable,
Controlled
Control.
variable, phase variable,
conditional variable. Conditional كاش داك dependent و
Dependent and
independent.
We'll do that later.
سلام ونظر.
Oh, this is.
تصدق شيرين بس صاغينات ولا بندست من ده هو هاك تبي بيزار بين بقلم ودفتريش لا أميك محاضرة بتوع شاكر دي بيتسارة بتوع مشاكا مش تقارب
يكم من ضرورة يكم مهمة.
So we have the variables. The first we said control variables. And
control
we said we usually use two. There are three, but usually we use two. The
flow
pressure control
and
and the
flow.
volume control. And usually we see it at the beginning. You see P, pressure control, and V.
Volume control.
Clear?
Volume
That's
not
the
for
controls.
us.
Yeah.
Volume, we
For
always,
one
most of
anesthesia.
time. This is respiratory time is very short.
Countable variable.
Control.
Control.
كنترول او زعمج لا فوليوم او كي بريجر بكاردين الاطفال فوليوم لبو انستيزيا بريجر لبو ما اما بس دسكاري يجي لك بريجر وفلو يدك فوليوم بس لبو تخدير لبو اوبريشن وشتانا بكاردين
pressure and volume.
حاضر خطة.
خوش ما صفرك.
ليك بهران
ودناني.
So we understand the V and P, right? And then we have the phase variables
Yes.
that change the ventilator from inspiration,
Inspiration,
expiration,
expiration.
and pauses.
Yes.
Okay? So tell start, sustain, and stop.
end.
Okay?
Sustain.
And end.
Yes.
Okay? And then we have the conditional variables.
Variable dependent or independent.
Dependent one. So independent, set,
We
dependent, measured.
This is
Well,
dependent.
This is
Depend.
measured, this is set. So this you set, this you read.
It's independent.
This independent because you set.
You set.
This dependent on
Yeah.
this and the patient interaction.
This is patient interaction. This one.
Yeah, now we can see that. We'll talk about them one by one. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so remember the dependent, and then we have the type of breath. How many?
Mandatory.
Mechanical,
Assisted.
spontaneous,
Not
assisted.
mechanical.
No, mandatory, sustained,
All mechanical.
spontaneous,
Spontaneous,
assisted.
assisted.
Yes.
نحتاج نعيدهم لو ذكرتوهم.
Yes, yes.
Very important.
Yes.
So let's
Mandatory
repeat.
assisted.
We have type of breath
Mandatory by machine,
Yeah.
assisted by machine and patient,
and conditional
Spontaneous.
variables
Dependable and dependable.
and phase variable.
Yes.
phase.
شو نعطوكم؟
Three.
Mode of
Mode,
ventilation.
yes.
أوامر mode.
عيدهم.
Yes.
So we have control variable شو نعطيكم؟
Pressure.
Type of ventilator.
Type of ventilator.
Control variable شو نعطيكم؟ Type of ventilator. Control variable what does give you?
Type of
Type of
ventilator.
ventilator. Please repeat with me so you don't forget.
Okay.
Control variables gives you what gives
Type
you?
of
Type
ventilator.
of ventilator. And you have how many types?
Volume
Two types.
and pressure.
Volume and
And
pressure.
pressure and flush.
واضحين؟
Like
And then we have conditional variables,
Dependent and
phase
Dependent
variable, and type of breath. What does give you?
mode.
Mode of ventilation. واضحين لو مو واضحين؟
yes.
So we have the phase variable, we'll check and then we'll play with the phase and with the conditional variable and type of breath to give us the mode. Okay? We usually, almost always, we use pressure control.
Yes.
Rarely ever we use volume
Anesthesia
control.
will be-
Unless the baby is more than 8 years or it's a anesthesia.
Yes.
And I will tell you that later. Now when you use volume, you control volume. What is remain not controlled? The pressure.
Pressure,
So what type of trauma they will give you? Barotrauma.
Barotrauma.
Remember, it's pressure problem. If you control pressure, what will give you? Volume trauma, volume problem. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Pressure control used for long lasting
Yes.
ventilation.
PICU.
واضحين?
Yes.
So now the mode of ventilation. The most important mode is the AC,
Synchron.
assisted control.
Assisted.
Or some people call it SIPPV. SI, why is the I called? SIPPV. Assisted control or synchronized intermittent positive pressure ventilation. Just remember, assisted control. And from the name, to provide assisted and control, the mandatory. Assisted and the
Mixed,
mandatory.
yeah.
What's the remaining you will not see in this mode? Spontaneous. So this mode first, you will never see spontaneous.
Just
And
So
by-
once you don't see spontaneous, then this is assisted
control,
control.
you mean mandatory?
The control mean mandatory, what you control. Clear? Okay, that's one, the type breath. Second, the rate. You give the control. But if the patient breathes more, the machine will not leave him or leave her because it will trigger and give assisted. So you'll see the control and the assisted. How? So let's say, what is the rate now?
30.
30. But
Right.
let's look and I will breathe faster. Look at the number.
Which is the red one? 23.
Look the rate.
The red one is red, rate.
By O2. Increasing.
So that's one. So whatever you set, the machine will give. So now I'm not breathing. The machine will give 30. And it will help whatever extra. Okay? So the control will give, which is rate 30, and anything above, it will give. Once the baby, you'll see it give. You see? You see? And I'm not breathing now. You see? So once,
This is control.
you see? Once I breathe, it will help me. You see? You see? It will help me whenever I breathe.
Assisted يعني.
Assisted.
Start
it
by
breathe-
you and complete
complete
by the machine.
Assisted. So it gives the control and the assisted. Is that clear?
Yes.
So two. First,
Assisted.
you will never see spontaneous. Second, it will give the control, the mandatory, delivered by the machine, and it will help the patient when breathe. It will never breathe alone. And look how regular now. See, once I do anything, it will give me one. You see. Now it's not giving me. Why? You see? Not very small. You see? This one and this one that I'm doing, see. But when I do good one, it will give. You see? You see?
Yes.
You see? Why? Because I determine the trigger. What is the trigger here? Trigger. You see trigger? It should be
Trigger
1 liter. And then will trigger. You see this is mild. You see? It's not giving. You see? So once it's a good one, it will trigger. So that's will trigger. We'll talk about trigger later on. But trigger mean to
neuronal.
give assisted, you need to pass the preset value. So whatever the trigger is, okay, like this one. So let's say let's make it bigger. So let's make it bigger.
ومانديتوري كان
Make it 2.
أنا ما
Okay, see now.
سبونتينيتي سي
لا spontaneous كنت بيبشنا دايت.
اللي له هلا شكله.
So let's make it now smaller. See, now whatever I do, it will give. Even it's very simple.
Yes.
See now let's say I decrease it.
يعني how much?
The flow. So the more of it, look at it. So whenever I do it, now I will increase it again. Oops. I'll make it 3.
دكتور بس can't explain in another way. You didn't
We'll
get
explain the trigger later on. Just leave the trigger. Okay. Anyhow, it gives the control, the mandatory, and whatever the baby breathes, it will assist. So let's say the rate is, you set the rate to 30.
Yes.
35, right? 35 or 35. Okay, let's say the baby is breathe 40. How much the machine will give?
5.
40.
40.
So total 40 will be. The measured rate will be 40. If the patient breathe 50,
50.
the measure will be 50. If the baby breathe 40, the measure will be 40 because 35 control and 5 assisted. Clear? If the patient breathe 20,
Has 30.
35.
And it should be 30.
5 the lowest part, and anything above it will help.
Yes.
Is that clear
35
or
control,
no?
huh?
If not clear, I will explain again. Not clear. What is the rate here?
35.
35.
The machine will never give below 35.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. If the patient breathe 40,
5.
it will give 40. So 5 plus 35. If the patient breathe 60,
60. Give
it will give 60. It will be like 15 and 25 plus 35, 60. If 50, it will give 15 plus 35 and so on. If the patient breathe 30,
Give you 35.
35.
35.
So it gives the control plus whatever the patient
have.
above, it will assist. So you'll see only assisted and control. How you know it's assisted? Look at it. Look at it when I decrease the trigger. I don't want to confuse. Let's make the figure 1. See, what is the difference here? I will show you when you put it as IMP. All the pressure will be the same, whether it's mandatory or it is assisted, but it will be irregular. Now it's regular, you see it? Regular, 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 regular.
And if it is assisted, it will be regular.
Regular. If baby start to breathe, it will be the same wave, but irregular.
Yes.
It will come in an interval.
Yes.
Okay, so that's one. So we know this is assisted and mandatory.
Irregular.
While spontaneous, you will see different shape.
Differential.
So here you should not see different shape. واضح? Clear?
These waves are spontaneous or these waves
This
like
is
shape?
This is mandatory.
It's mandatory.
Because it's not spontaneous.
It's no difference.
Yes.
Even
It's
if this,
regular
see,
and
they
same
start to
shape.
become, and it's until the ventilator used to it, it takes time.
It's irregular. It's become irregular because
Yes.
you did.
This is spontaneous.
So this is spontaneous. This is mandatory. You see it? I will show you
Mandatory is
on the
regular.
floor. So this is the pressure.
Mandatory, yes.
Okay.
Ah,
Is this?
regular.
Is this? Look at this floor. Is this? Imagine I'm covering this.
Yes.
Imagine it. But I'm giving you in the exam this way. Is this volume control or pressure control, and why? Because I've explained the theory many times. Is this pressure control or volume control, and why? Now when you want to blow a balloon, how you blow the balloon? Try to blow a balloon right now. Put your hand and
Pressure. This is pressure.
Just pressure.
No, so you blow the balloon. تنفخين بالون بالقوة لو شلون تنفخين؟ تحتاجين وقت.
Time and pressure.
Right? لكن إذا تيجي تطيريها مرة واحدة. صح؟ So, if you see this, this is what? This is pressure control. You see, up and down. Let's go to volume. Look at it. Look at it. What happened to the wave?
It's just press. It's not like
What happened to the wave?
Decreased.
Decrease.
Not decrease because I decreased it. But no, look at the wave.
Plateau.
Well, let's
There's
make it
plateau,
bigger.
Plateau. There is plateau.
Plateau time. Let's make it bigger. And of course, the ventilator will take time to adjust, but the pressure needs more pressure.
أو بلاتو يهبوا فوليوما.
أو فوليوم أنا كده.
أو بلاتو يهبوا للسر أو زهات وقارب جسم. أو رسمانة هي هم نبغى بس أول مخيمتي بس صار مخيمتي.
Okay, you see the difference? So if you see the wave, this is what?
Plateau. This is volume.
Volume, because volume
Has plateau.
is time of flow. Takes time from the flow to build the volume. While if it's a pressure, it's the speed of the flow. So if you want to blow a paper, but if you want to blow a balloon, you need time. So let's move to pressure. You see the wave?
Yes.
You understand the difference now between,
Pressure.
by the wave you know now, but we are looking at the graph. What is this, a graph or loop?
Loop.
What is this?
This is
A
graph.
Because it's a parameter against
Against
time.
time,
And
yes.
usually you see 3 parameters. 1, 2, 3. So pressure, flow, and volume.
Loop. It is volume.
Okay? So this
Parameter
is,
against parameter.
this is, you see, pressure control, because we determine the pressure to be, how much pressure we put? 30. Okay? No, this is the delta. Anyway, this is adult. I don't like it. So change in the way. So maybe we can put it less. Because this is adult. I don't like it. Only the change. Because this is the. Now, whenever you see a triangle, it's the change. It's the delta. It's the difference between a pressure, between a volume, between a flow. Whenever you see, it's a change. And I will tell you later what is that. Because this is not PIP. This is the delta PIP. Okay, so هذا ventilator because I've decreased the pressure. Okay, so look at this. Very nice.
This is pressure.
Pressure. Okay, usually when you get pressure more,
Mandatory.
and it become also plateau. The pressure will become plateau if you give
More.
low. And then we need to increase the flow because I know the ventilator. Where is the flow here? Do you see the flow?
35.
No, this is the frequency. So if we go to psi is flow, internal cycle, internal P. I think also we've talked about the P. Okay, where is the PIP here? So let's get more. See what happened now. It becomes faster to achieve the pressure. You see? Look at it. Look at it. When we go less. See? It becomes slower. See? It was very fast. Now it's become less because the pressure is the time to give the faster you give more pressure. The slower you give less pressure. Okay? So now you know the graphics and you can see the volume here. Okay? Look at the volume when we go to volume control. You see? Because we've said, let's decrease the volume. But let's increase the volume. So I want you to see more. You see, the volume will increase. Okay? And the flow will be higher. Okay? So let's
Which
go
one?
back.
It is the bottom. It is.
You see
Volume.
the pressure.
This is
Now
pressure.
whatever needed.
Yeah.
The
Mandatory.
whatever, mandatory, okay?
Yes.
Because we're giving volume, we're controlling only the volume. We're giving and it's you can see the pressure. But once you go to pressure control, look at the difference. You see now the pressure? Because we are controlling by pressure. You can see the volume. Okay? So it's very important to understand between volume control and pressure control and look at the waves. So simply when we say volume control, we control the volume and the pressure. It has to build the volume. So if you control the volume, you'll see the pressure faster. When if you go the volume, you will be less because volumes need time.
Yes.
Is that clear?
Yes.
And these are called graphics.
Yes.
Okay? And the graphics including
Time.
three parameters.
Flow, pressure.
Versus time. And usually you either see between 3 to 7 waves. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the monitors. Is that clear? So now we finished the volume control and the pressure control, and we talked about
Flow.
AC control, AC mode. So we talked about volume control ventilation, pressure control ventilation, and we talked about AC mode. And we AC, remember, phase variable, conditional variable, and type of breath.
Yes.
Okay? So in AC, we control the rate, and the patient has to be supported. If you breathe more, then we have to tell the ventilator when you will support. And that's the trigger. So we'll tell the machine, when the baby breathe this level, help. If breathe less, don't help. And the trigger, there are many types. Drink water. Okay? So when the patient say, like if the patient achieve this flow, help.
Yes.
If the patient achieve this pressure, help. Clear? And then we have to set the rate. But remember, the rate is over a minute, and the minute is 60 seconds. So if we tell the ventilator the rate is 35 times, okay, we'll tell the inspiratory time. So let's say if we say the inspiratory time is 0.65, okay, 0.65 times 35. يلا ضربوها
35
35. How much remaining for exhalation?
35 or point 35
لا بس وياي خليكم وياي 0.65 times 35 0.65 seconds
times
35
29 plus
22.7
22.2 60 minus 22.75
60 minus
22.7
48.
ايش قد يطلع لك؟
37.25
37.5 because we have 30 more times divided by 35
divided by
35 how much يطلع لك؟
59.35
لا خطأ لازم always you hit شوف that's very important in neonatology always hit equal after each calculation let's go back it's a very important trick high okay so how many times we are breathing 35 each time how much 0.65 so 35 times 0.65
زارني.
equal hit equal after you do it
35
35
times
times
point
0.65 it is 22.7
22.75 so this is the total amount of inhalation each time 0.365 is for 35 the remaining time is for exhalation and pauses صح؟ تمام؟ if we say the ventilator let's say the IE ratio is 1 to 2. Okay, how much time? You remember the IE? Inspiration, inhalation, you remember?
Yes.
Now how much I inhalation? 22.
ايه
If we tell them 1 to 2, mean 22 times 2,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
44.
Yes.
Plus 22.
Equal then.
Plus 22.
Hmm?
It's 60.
So we have
7.
problem with exhalation.